Welcome back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS. It's time for Owin's Field Report, sponsored by Les Schwab Tire Centers.
Now, obviously, there's a lot of opportunities still to chase fall Chinook around on the Columbia and, of course, up and down the coast and in numerous different tributaries in a lot of different areas. So certainly, it's worth going. It sounds like, at least on the Columbia, that the weeds in areas have been really, really bad. At least yesterday, the report that I got from a friend of mine that has been spending daily out there, seems like things aren't nearly as bad as they were. Weather conditions have a lot to do with that. Not as much wind, tearing up the banks, this and that, the last day or two. So it seems like that part of the report is getting a little bit better. Hopefully that's what you run into, because you all know that this time of year, when the grass is bad, it makes it very difficult fishing no matter where you are. So that is an advantage. In the reports, though, there's been a lot of silvers caught. And it seems like it's been a kind of, not necessarily 50-50, but a lot of folks are just still trolling 360s and super baits, 360s and spin fish. Some of them are changing it up to color patterns, being more pink, at least something along the lines of being a little more silver-esque when you're talking about a bait behind that 360. So you can certainly do that. But some of the folks that are catching that Chinook and getting that out of the way are switching over to pulling plugs. Brad's Wigglers in particular, in some of the goofiest color combinations. And that's one of the things I'd recommend. If you're going to pull plugs for silvers, no matter where it is, if it's the main stem Columbia, if it's the Willamette, or if it's in tributaries, wherever it is that you can get away with it. So some of those goofy colors with the pinks and the oranges and the greens and the purples, I don't know the names of them, but y'all know what I'm talking about. The ones you look at and go, what? That's a silver plug. Certainly just find one that's going to run right and fish the way it's supposed to. I like a little bit of crawfish scent on there from Procure. That was my all-time favorite scent for pulling plugs around or casting, and for that matter, even twitching if I was going to put scent on. Certainly something to keep in mind. But there's... you could actually focus right now strictly on silvers, target them, and get your 2 per day. Now, if I had my choice between either a fall Chinook or a silver, I'll give you one guess on which direction I'm going. When you're talking about table fare, it's going to be a silver. And there's been some big ones getting caught, so hopefully you can come across those as well. A couple of questions came in yesterday about our upcoming duck season. One was in particular about the east side, because it does open all on the same day this year for both sides of the state, zone 1 and 2. The only advice I could give anybody right now before the season starts, scout, 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 scout. There's not a lot of water anywhere. Any of the areas that I would focus on trying to use a boat is worthless, especially if it was on any of the spots. Kind of back myself in the wall there that I would try to find right now. But it's all scouting. I mean, if you're going to try to find some spots on public land, if it's with a boat to try to find areas, that's a good way to go. Other than that, cover ground, wherever it is that you have those opportunities to hunt. That's really the only thing you can do going into this time of the season, right? Before the season actually kicks off. Just scout. It's going to be very difficult to figure out where they are just because of the time of year. And I wouldn't get too crazy. It's obviously odd for me to say that because I'm already crazed. I can't think of anything other than what's going to happen in the next 2 weeks. But scouting is your #1 tool by a long shot. Just scout, scout, scout. Lower, upper, right, left. The more ground you cover, the more birds you're going to find and find the area that you want to spend your time. So until we get a big push of birds, which could be a month, could be 2 months. It all depends on weather. Let's just cross our fingers that farmer's almanac, if you believe in that thing at all, is accurate, because we're supposed to have above average moisture and above average cold through this winter. I probably jinxed it all right there. Fish counts, pretty simple. Bonneville Dam, the numbers over the dam, of course, when you're talking about Chinook, it is right. We showed the 10-year yesterday. It is right down there, bottomed out. That's the way it should be through the end of the year. But there will be fish still trickling over the dam. When you're talking about silvers, 2,900, pretty standard. If you were to pull up that 10-year, which we did not, it's pretty much average right now. 158 over the dam is still extremely good. Steelhead numbers, I don't want to jinx it. I just hope that this is just a sign of fish starting to make that rebound. Management, ocean conditions. I mean, all the excuses that you can have in the world for these numbers being so terrible the last 10 years. It's great to see this. They continued to protect them, which is a darn good thing. I know a lot of people don't like that, but we need those numbers to come back, especially if you're like me and you like to spend time on the east side in a number of different locations. Columbia, very, very low. Bottom of the tide is 0. Yes, there's still a little bit of water, but like I mentioned, for a number of different areas, there's just no water. I mean, you could be on the bank and you're going to have 50 yards from cut. Well, see, now I'm giving up more stuff. Cover to decoys, not the greatest thing. Bonneville, just at 6 foot coming out right now, so very low coming out of the dam as well. But there seems to be some light at the end of the tunnel here. We'll see how things go as we go forward. All right, also, don't forget, Southwest Washington CCA meeting is coming up. It's one of these things that they do all year for a number of their different chapters. October 9th. It's a great way to go hang out with folks that you're already well aware of if you're a member of the CCA, and if you're not, you're also invited. Might give you a good reason to join as well. Find out what the CCA is all about, and thank goodness for them. I would not want to know where we would be, for all those folks that like to argue about it, where we would be without the CCA here in the Northwest. I honestly don't want to know what that's going to be like. But you'd like to have some free stuff as well. Here's the giveaway from Procure. Send them an email to Jason at Procure, and every Monday morning they have a winner that is chosen, and they will be notified on Monday. And yes, it is real. It is someone that wins every single week. Conspiracy theory aside, let's go ahead though and check in with Carly Olson and find out what this weather is going to do this upcoming week. It looks pretty nice, but from our perspective, at least from my perspective, I'd like to see a lot more rain.
Well, you're actually in luck. Now, this weekend is looking pretty sunny, pretty warm and everything, but that will change in the next few days. Let's start, though, with today. For most of us across the state, things are going to be sunny and clear. Our highs for today in the Portland area are going to be lower to mid-70s. Wow. So looks pretty nice over in eastern Oregon. They're getting up to 80 degrees, so it's looking pretty warm over there. But like I said, we do have a change on the horizon. Now, today and tomorrow are going to be pretty clear. In fact, we will see even warmer temperatures tomorrow. But on Tuesday, that's the first chance that we see for some light rain totals. We will see at least significant cloud cover throughout the day on Tuesday. Now, in Portland itself, we don't expect a lot of rain accumulation, but you should see some sprinkles here and there at the very least. And along the coast and in Astoria, they'll definitely see some light showers as well. Same story on Wednesday. Some significant cloud cover really all throughout the day, early morning showers, and chances for showers throughout that day as well. It's pretty much a similar story Thursday and Friday as well. And Friday is the day that most models agree we are going to see some rain accumulation in the Portland area. Now, that accumulation is still pretty light, but we will take what we can because we have seen a lot of dry, sunny days recently, and I'm sure many of us are hoping for some rain, much like yourself.
Absolutely. It's fall. We want to see some rain, a lot of it, and maybe even some snow a little early this year. We'll see how it plays out. Carly, thank you. Great weekend with you for the first time here on Outdoor GPS. Thank you. All right, everyone, we're going to cut to a break. When we come back, we're going to have the finals. When you're talking about the Pike Mental Reward Program, we have Eric Winther here in the studio. And again, if you participate or have ever participated in this program, number one, thank you. But number two, we're going to give you the reason why people do it. A record number made by the top individual, and it's extremely impressive. We'll be back with that in just a minute.
Outdoor GPS is brought to you by P-Line, because we fish, by Hawken Fishing, perfection in fishing gear, and by Haxton's Canvas and Upholstery, the trusted name of the Pacific Northwest.